Another story that dropped right before we went on was this. Yeah, ABC News right here.
House here for us. And Aaron, what have you learned as far as breaking this down? Liable for what, and then not liable for what else?
David, this jury reached its verdict in a little bit of under 3 hours of deliberations after getting the case earlier today, and they found that E. Jean Carroll was battered and defamed by former President Trump. Interestingly, David, the jury did not find that Carroll proved by a preponderance of evidence that Trump actually raped her. However, they did find a lesser degree of battery, finding that Trump sexually abused E. Jean Carroll in that department store in the mid-1990s. And for that, they awarded $2 million in compensatory damages. More damages were awarded for defamation. They found that Trump did defame Carroll in the form of a social media statement from October of 2022, in which he said that Carroll was not his type, in which he called her claim a hoax and a con job. And for that, the jury awarded another $2 million in compensatory damages, all told. So it's a real win for E. Jean Carroll. She was seated between her two attorneys, Sean Crowley and Roberta Kaplan, clutching their hands, their arms around her, a satisfied smile on her face. And behind her, the defense attorney for former President Trump, who was not here. He did not show up to this trial, but his defense attorney, Joe Tacopina, sat back in his seat in defeat.
So thoughts? I'll let whoever wants to go first go ahead and start.
Sure, I'll shoot first and I'll keep it simple. All right, great. That's still not going to stop Trump from running for president. He's not going to go to jail, and he will be participating still in the 2024 Republican primary, and his polling numbers are still outperforming Biden. Now that all this investment was looked into into Trump, where's the same kind of investment looking into, I don't know, somebody like Joe Biden? Or, hey, that guy, remember Governor Cuomo, all those Cuomo sexuals and those 8 women that came forward calling him out for his years of harassment and abuse? Or any other Democratic lawmaker? Let's say this guy, Bill Clinton, who knew the world's most prolific abuser, first name Jeffrey, last name was an E, somehow died in a New York prison. I don't know how that happened. Let's put the same investment into holding Democratic lawmakers accountable too. There you go. Trump's still running for president, vote blue no matter who. The walls are still not closing in. He just built another floor just to escape. That's what's going on there.
I mean, that extra $2 million fine for that social media post, it's amazing. For a guy who's dealt with the mafia his whole life, Trump has an incredibly big mouth that gets him into so much trouble. Like, don't these mob guys you sold, you bought concrete from for the hotels, don't they ever tell you to keep your fucking mouth shut? Like, the guy has run up so much debt just by talking. I mean, he has the most expensive pair of lips I've ever seen. I mean, the guy just can't shut up and keeps costing himself money. I mean, that's what jumped out to me there. Also, as a New Yorker, I can tell you, the MAGA chuds, they all love to take selfies outside of Trump Tower. Now they're all going to flock to Bergdorf Goodman to take selfies. Let me find that dressing room where he came out there, where he attacked E. Jean Carroll. Take a selfie outside there. Who the hell knows, man? You never know. A world like this, I think you're at a point now with Trump where anything that doesn't actually take him down, meaning anything that doesn't actually land him in prison, makes him stronger. It gives him that Teflon essence, and it allows him to, even though this was a guilty verdict, I suppose, I mean, it was a civil case, but the fact that they did not conclude that he raped her, which was the accusation, I think you're at the point with him where, because you saw in the deposition where he ran down the list of, quote unquote hoaxes that were perpetrated against him, both as a candidate and when he was in office. It's at the point where anything that doesn't actually land him in jail only feeds his narrative that they keep coming at me and coming at me and coming at me. And yet here I am, right? Winner, or in this case, technically a loser with the $5 million fine. But as long as he's still a free man and he's still in the race, he comes out of these things looking like a winner, I think. I mean, I don't like to say that. Obviously, it's a very serious charge. And like Kit said, I would like for Tara Reid to get her day in court. But that's how I think this actually plays.
Yeah, and also this is just the Democrats' karma coming back to haunt them. What they say about Bill Clinton? I would be glad to get out my presidential knee pads for him for keeping abortion legal and safe. Right? They've been excusing sexual predators for decades. And that's why nobody will take you seriously now. They see when it's one of your own, like Joe Biden, the way that Tara Reid couldn't get any help from Time's Up, right? People see that. They see that hypocrisy. And ultimately, as a result, they just tune this out. The only people who tune it in are your NPCs, your people who are just going to go with whatever you tell them. But the rest of the public, I think most people probably believe that Donald Trump has committed sexual assault, even people who support him. But they're like, well, it's a wash. So did Biden.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And also liberals, because they're idiots, of course, really watered down like Trump outrage. And I'm gonna try and explain what I mean the best I can. How many times did they say that Trump about to go to prison? Now they got all these indictments that are 100% political. So when something like this that is legit, as far as I can see, right, that should manufacture outrage, people are like, "Oh, just another Trump scandal they manufactured," because they did it so many times. Imagine if they was just chill and they critique Trump's policies that they can't because they mostly agree, right? So imagine they were chill, and then this happened, and it was like the first time they was like, "Yeah, we got to go through the legal system." I think it would hit more. It would hit way harder. But we've seen so many of these pathetic attempts by liberals to weaponize the Justice Department, even though there are people who do the same exact thing. And even though Trump was called guilty, and I have no reason not to believe this woman, right? Everyone sees it's political because your president is a rapist. Like so if you're only charging one side, everyone's gonna see what you're doing, and that's what everyone see through, except Democrats. They're the only people that pretend that people don't see the political aspects of these things.
All right. I'm going to be very careful how I say this because I don't want to hurt your channel. So I saw a video that put together clips of Joe Biden's history in public with very, very, very young ladies. And it's pretty damning. That's all I'm going to say. I don't feel like you could watch that montage and come out of it saying, no, there's nothing going on there. There's nothing going on there. That's totally normal. That's totally normal to behave that way with a child. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to get you in trouble. I want to be
we understand.
I forget the tweet, but somebody screenshot it. I don't know if it's still around or up there or not, but it could have been from a sock puppet account or not. But some liberal who was voting for Biden or was supporting Biden during the 2020 election said that they would rather have Biden hurt their child than.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's what happened. Wow. The thing is, you have a lot of vote. Now, again, that could have been a sock puppet account. That could have been some sort of bot. Or it really could have been, shockingly, a liberal. Because when you hear what some of these liberals do...
Yeah, it doesn't sound too far off.
And just the amount of mental gymnastics, vote blue no matter who, will do to have a Democrat in office or have a Democratic neoliberal majority, they will twist their own morals to make themselves superior.
You remember that woman, that white woman that was like, I don't even care if Biden raped Tara Reid. He could rape me for all that matter. I'm still voting for him. She said that. Even normie feminists was like, no, even Democrat liberals like, nigga, you making them look way too fucking ridiculous. Don't say shit like that out loud.
Never trust the vote blue no matter who liberal Democrats because they want you to be complacent.
So, but look, on another level, I think this is hurting DeSantis a bit, and I'm just sort of speculating here, but let's not forget, it's very clear based on Biden's campaign video, the one that he put out, he wants to run against Trump. It's very, very obvious that's who he wants to run against. And the way DeSantis has been boosting his numbers is by sort of clout chasing in the form of chasing media, right? He'll inject himself into a story that represents some national media trend. All this focus on Trump is keeping DeSantis from doing that. That's why his polling has sort of flatlined. And so it's look, this is perhaps a bit conspiratorial, as I'm prone to get from time to time. This is speculation on my part. I'm just kind of spitballing here. It could be that it could be that this is another Pied Piper move, that they're putting all this Trump stuff into the media in order to boost him, to get him that nomination because he's their target. He's who they clearly want to run against.
Absolutely. Go ahead, and let's have.
Again, that's just a
Russell
theory. I'm just throwing it out. I just kind of thought of that a few minutes ago. But it seems...
polls are meaningless on a candidate who hasn't announced yet. You know, I mean, I think once DeSantis announces, then you're going to start to get a real picture. Yeah. I think he's going to be much more formidable against Trump than people are thinking, because there's only Trump out there right now. There's only Trump, right? I mean, yeah, he's fucking with Disney and all that, but he's not an announced candidate for president.